Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. As usual, we will have a great show for you today. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Let's start with the standard chat, which has, bringing up the beginning, we have El Senor Michael Rudnett from Brooklyn, New York, Patrick Magner from Houston, Texas. We also have in the house Muzz Maniac from Houston, Carl Cox from Riverdale, Georgia. We've got Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia, Mary B, and Michael. Welcome aboard. Please, in the Substack chat, call you out. Let just throw your name, your city and state. We got Marge KJ, Chesapeake, Virginia. How you doing, beautiful? Great to have you all here. We're going to have a great show for you today. Starting with what Michael Rudnin brought out. He says, who's that? Maktub Media. At least 31 Yemeni journalists were killed and 22 others injured in Israel's airstrike that destroyed the headquarters of two major newspapers in the Yemeni capital, Sana'a. Officials said Monday the Yemeni Ministry of Health and the attacks, which struck Sana'a and Al Jaf governorate on September 10th, killed 46 people overall, including 5 children and 11 women, and wounded 165 others. Civil defense teams are still working to recover victims from the rubble when Israel bombs a newspaper building in Sana'a, Yemen, and the mainstream media is silent. You know it's been normalized. Have you heard about this? If I hadn't until I watched this AJ Plus video, and it's an Al Jazeera Plus video, I didn't either. And I have all kind of subscriptions in my foreign correspondent stuff. Welcome aboard. Judy is from Hyde Park, New York. How you doing, beautiful? Welcome to have you here. Yvonne Schmidt is also in. Yvonne, where are you from? I don't have where you're from. Anyway, so that's sad. Let's see what else. Radin Segberto, can you play this short video, narrate the subtitles? More journalists have been killed in Gaza than in World Wars Vietnam, Yugoslavia, and Afghanistan combined. More than 270 journalists and media. Let's see what it looks like before I commit to doing that. It says for me, video unavailable. So somebody got to it beforehand, Senor Radin. It seems like the police has already gotten it down. They've already gotten it down. All right, let's see. Let's see what else. Matud Media is from New Delhi, India. Maybe I need to add that to my repertoire. Bruce Burns, welcome aboard, as well as DT. All right, before I get started, um, let's just go first and dispel the fallacy that somehow all this violence is really a left-wing thing, and that left-wing violence is something we have been working on for a long time. It's not true. And what we're going to do is I just want you know, one of my favorites is side. Let me go ahead and play this right here because Mehdi Hassan is very good at what he does. So let's go ahead and point out the reality. The violence in this country since its inception has been from the right. The good thing about all of this is you don't have to take my word for it. You just have to itemize the body count and the incidences. And it's clearly and objective that the violence in this country originates from the right. I mean, it's no comparison, but we cannot let inculcate it in people's minds. And that is how the right wing works. They keep repeating something and repeating something and repeating something with the expectation that with not the proper pushback, it becomes the reality. That's what they did with the word liberal. I've taken back the word liberal. I am but I am a progressive. I am a left winger. I'm a liberal plus. There's nothing bad about that. I believe in doing what's right by people. I believe in opening my mind. I believe in making progress. I don't have to conserve a past. We should not want to conserve a past that was not good for all. I want a present and a future that is good for everybody, whether that be people who consider themselves Democrats, Republicans, MAGA. I want everybody to have equal access to success. That's the difference between progressives and conservatives. We believe equal access to success for all. We don't believe that there's one group that should be on top. We don't believe that in a white supremacy. And I find it amazing that the white supremacists, the Christian nationalists, like to look at it from a racial standpoint, when even the religion that they profess to follow wasn't a religion of whiteness. It was a religion out of Africa. It's a religion out of the top of Africa. So it's not even that the protagonists in that religion were white. It's a religion open to all. I am not a Christian. I am a humanist. But real Christians, the ones who've decided to adopt that ideology, black, white, everybody. And the same with Islam, which is a corollary religion. Same thing. But I don't know what's in these people's minds. The white supremacist mind, I don't get it. It would be good if they all took themselves a DNA test. They will find out how not white, theoretically, they are. They would find out that I guess I'm not as white as I thought I was. It would be nice if folks started to do that. We are all in this boat together, folks. So anyhow, the violence in this country, from its inception, from slavery on, has always been from the right. And the interesting thing about left-wing violence has always been not for the sake of doing anything but liberation. And please tell me prove me wrong. That is what Charlie Kirk used to like to say. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But anyhow, let's leave the plate to Mehdi Hassan and what he has to say. Let me go ahead and pull that up because I think it's important. It's very important. Let's go for that. Go.
How would you analyze what you're hearing in response to this murder from the left?
From the left? I mean, just listening to the clips you played from the Trump administration, we're in a very dark moment. It's a very McCarthyite moment right now. I've been listening to your show. You made a lot of good points. The biggest point I think you've glossed over is the crackdown on free speech, this targeting of people for their views. I thought Charlie Kirk was supposed to be a free speech martyr. Why are the right using his death to crack down on free speech and American rights and go after this amorphous left? J.D. Vance lied today on the Charlie Kirk show when he said the statistics are clear that this is a left-wing problem. It's the exact reverse. right? Exact reverse. You look at the ADL Center for Extremism, which looked at 444 people killed by extremists between 2013 and 2022, 75% of them by the right. You look at the University of Maryland study that was done for their terrorism center, which found that from 1948 to 2018, right-wing extremists more likely to carry out violence than left-wing extremists. You look at the head of the FBI who Donald Trump appointed, Chris Wray, who said the number one domestic terror threat in this country comes from religious and racially motivated extremists, specifically white supremacists. You can keep going. The National Institute for Justice found that the majority of incidents since 1990, violent terroristic acts were right-wing extremists. The single biggest day of political violence, Chris, in our lifetimes in this country was January 6th, 2021, when right-wing extremists attacked the Capitol, injured police officers. They were ideologically motivated. You and I agreed it was an insurrection at the time. So it's bizarre for Vance to go on TV or go online and say the exact opposite of what both the official statistics say and the think tanks say. All of our evidence tells us. I mean, there was a Democratic lawmaker, Chris, I don't know how many times we have to say this, who was murdered in her home with her husband in June by a Trump supporter. And Donald Trump today said, who? When he was asked about it, he said, who?
Mm-hmm. So, Mehdi, one quick thing. I do not think January 6th was an insurrection. I thought that it was all kinds of crimes.
You said it at the time, Chris.
I just don't.
You called it an insurrection at the time. You did. You did.
No,
I checked your Twitter before I
never thought.
Okay,
go ahead, show it to me.
Check it
But
out.
I never thought that they were trying to take over the government. That's what an insurrection is. But it doesn't matter. It was bad. But we're dealing with new bad stuff. But
it was political violence. We can agree, right, Chris? It was political violence.
100%. How would you analyze?
It's amazing. Chris Cuomo has turned into a complete buffoon. Yes, he did call it an insurrection at the time. And yes, it was an insurrection. But because he's looking for right-wing support for his brother, who will lose the mayoral election in New York, that's what he has to say. But look, progressive think tanks, conservative think tanks, all of them do the numbers, and they all come out with the same thing. From this country's inception, political violence has come from the right. It's not even close. It's not even a half, 6.5 of one, 5.5 the other. It's coming from the right, and it is understood because people who are conservative want to do what? Conserve what they've already got and things for the status quo. People who are progressive, they want to move forward. They want to expand. They want to expand rights for all. And that's what progressives have been doing in this country since its inception. From a slave society where many particular groups were either enslaved or in indentured servitude. That's how our country started, was founded, until we slowly progressed to give women's voting rights. We got around the hangings from the right, the turmoil from the right. Let's be clear. Do not, and I'm speaking this to absolutely everybody that's listening on all our platforms. Don't push back. Every time they talk about left-wing violence, it is imperative. And I can't say this with enough gravity. It's imperative that you push back. The reason so much from the right has been inculcated into our family members, our friends, etc., is because we just stay quiet. The left-wing violence. Now, the vice president comes out and he says it forcefully on the most racist show on podcasts. And he just says it. If we don't push back, people would start believing, oh, well, violence, left wing, violence, left wing. That's not the case. And we have the receipts. Use them. That's what we have these programs for. Share them. Because fallacies become reality when it's not pushed back on. And it's imperative that we do that. It is imperative that we do that. Anyway, the press conference, they just had the press conference about an hour ago that showed that went through the TikTok as far as how the murder the murder was committed. And it turns out that he just kind of did this ad hoc. He planned the murder about a week before he did it. That is Tyler Robinson. And let's be clear. After listening to that interview, only somebody unable to think would think this some sort of a left-wing thing. Let me tell you what seems. I am going to give you the facts, and then based on the facts, I'm going to tell you what I think is most probable. The facts are that he started to plan this. He heard that this thing that Charlie Kirk was going to be in town. Number two, he also heard, he also was in a relationship with his roommate who was transitioning. Number three, he grew up a strict conservative Republican turned MAGA. Okay? His grandmother says that they don't know any Democrats, period, punto y final. The entire family were Republicans. That's another fact. He also came out and said how he planned the murder. He engraved the casings of the bullets. He went ahead and he planned out how to get to the roof, etc. He went there with his grandfather's gun passed down. Good. He goes on the thing and he executes this. Why? Earlier on in several discussions with his family, now that this guy is in a relationship with a trans person or a trans-changing person, he goes ahead and he's talking with his family, who it seems to be a loving family, a MAGA loving family. And what they considered left wing was he happened to fall in love with his roommate who is transitioning, a trans transitioner. That's what has happened. And now, remember something that we've said a whole lot. Remember what we've said a whole lot. That the conservative mind has consistently been, I am conservative, I'm brash, I'm tough, until it is something that affects you. Now, this part that I'm speaking about is what I think has come out that can be inferred from what they've released thus far. And I'm stating it as an inference. And the inference goes as follows. This guy, everybody knows as a normal guy, falls in love with a trans. We've continuously talked about, and let me buttress what I'm going to say with, he had no right to murder Charlie Kirk. No right to murder Charlie Kirk. He should not have murdered Charlie Kirk. It is wrong. It is also true that Charlie Kirk was a promoter of nationalist Christianity, right-wing hate. A hate against gays, a hate against trans, a hate against blacks, a hate against women leaders. That's who he was. And yesterday I played you the video that shows you who Charlie Kirk was. Now, this guy realizes he's in love with another guy that's transitioning. He's in love with this guy. But he is of an ideology where this is an abomination. This is an abomination, but he's in love with this other guy. It turns out that's what it is. He is. And he can't take that the one he loves. There's this massive hate. This movement that he's in. He is a Republican, so he goes off over the time period that he's now been with this guy. And dark things happened in his head. Dark things happened into his head. And he decides this hateful guy in their ideological center is coming to town, and he goes ahead and does something absolutely wrong, and that is to go ahead and kill this guy. I mean, when you hear, and I urge you guys to, I didn't have enough time to cut it, but I urge you to look at the interchange between Tyler Robinson and his roommate, and it is painful because you were able to see exactly what was going on in this guy's head. It's like I couldn't take that this hateful person was against the person that I'm in love with. I hope one of the words he said is, I hope I never had to tell you that I did this. I hope that I could retrieve the gun and leave no evidence. I mean, he came close to doing it. He came close to doing it. So don't believe the fallacy about far left and all this crap. This followed the same pattern that I've been stating for a very long time. And the pattern is as follows. The conservative, the right wing, the MAGA ideology is toxic. And it's not only toxic because of the hate that they promote on every other ideology, it's also toxic because it is armed. And they believe in all these arming. They're armed. And remember what I have always said. What happens when those of a false ideology realize they've been had? As far as this guy is concerned, the only thing he did wrong was he fell in love with a guy that his ideological stance does not allow. That makes him a hated entity. What happens when you find out that you've been had? And you see, if you take a look at senators who finally came in and support marriage equality, it's when they found out their kid was actually gay and in love with a person of the same sex and wanted to get married. That's when they came to see, that's when they came to have empathy. So this is not a justification at all for what this guy's done. It is not. It is not. But as Matthew Dowd stated, what he got fired for, if you are spewing so much hate, earlier this morning on our morning show, one of my right wing callers called and called me hateful because I pointed out how hateful Charlie Kirk was. And he called me hateful for doing that. And I asked him, I said, look, the good thing about all of the work that I do is anybody can go ahead and search absolutely all the work I have ever done, video, audio, everything. And they can never say that hateful comments on any particular identity has emanated from this mouth ever, not out of this tongue. Now, when I came to this country initially, and I say this over and over and over again, because of how I was reared, I was a sexist and a homophobe. I got over that quickly in my early 20s. As I was schooled by a lot of good women, as I was schooled by a lot of good gay brothers and sisters, so much so that I became a women's activist and a gay activist. In fact, one of the groups that I was a part of declared me an honorary woman. So one can change, but one has to want to change. But what Charlie Kirk did with that vile hate that he put out there, he had no intentions of changing. He had no intentions of learning. He had no intentions of empathy. In fact, he stated that empathy was a loser. He didn't believe in empathy. But those who want to like this guy now want others to be empathetic towards him. They want all the people that he has downed. He has downed has downed many of my own identities. Black, Latino, he has downed them all. And I am supposed to be cognizant. I'm supposed to be what's the word that I want to use? I'm supposed to be mindful of him. E2247 says maybe tomorrow PDR will be more relevant, affording evidence tending to prove or disprove the matter is issue or under discussion than is today's. See ya down the road. All right, E2247. Sorry I lost you there, but I want to get the Charlie Cook things out of here, and I really do. So this is ridiculous, natter and chatter. Well, maybe it is for you, E2247, but quite a few people are in fact still interested in this subject being covered. But again, if it's not your tea right now, I get it that you want to leave, so that's fine. All right, before I go on, I have several videos to show, but before I go on to that, if anybody wants to give me a call before I move on, give us a call at 281-823-7747. Anybody wants to call in, 281-823-7747. But let me just be clear. I'm not going to be listening to anybody with fallacies. Give me a call, 281-823-7747. I have other videos queued up that I want to go into in a minute. So, all right, let's see. Egberto found the AJ video. Okay, let's see. If it has music, though, I'm not going to be able to play it. The last time you gave me an AJ video, I got a hit from it. Let's see what it says there. I don't know. If it doesn't have music, I can actually do it. All right. I have to check that before I can put it on. So anyhow, here is something that happened today. There are 3 cuts that I made out of the president's press conference today. That is very important. And I want you to see what Donald Trump did. Let's see which one this is first. I want to make sure and play the one where he threatened an ABC reporter first. Yeah, this is the one. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side. Let's go ahead and do that. I wanted to hold my breath. I wanted to pull the hair out of my head, the hairs out of my head that I don't have, because the president continues to talk about tariffs as if he doesn't realize that tariffs are cratering the economy. The tariffs are increasing the prices of all the goods. I mean, he was proud to say, do you see what the tariff is on China? Over 50%. The tariff on China is over 50%. Not realizing that what he's saying is that is a price increase on all his working class followers. So he goes and he talks about the billions of dollars that these foreign countries are paying in tariffs. And nay, a reporter in that line of reporters asks him or tells him, Dr. Trump, President Trump, who's paying the tariffs? No one went ahead and point that out. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
some auto executives are concerned that compromising the 15% for auto tariffs coming in hurts American automakers. What do you say to?
Well, I haven't compromised anything. Where did I compromise?
Going down to 15% from
going down to 15%. We charge well. And where did the 25 come from? It came from there. You tell me. Just so you know, they paid nothing for years. Now they're paying 15%. And some things can pay more, like chips could pay more. Pharmaceuticals could pay more. You know, there's a bigger margin. With a car, you have to make 15% before you make a profit. Pretty tough. So, but we had a good deal. Don't forget, European Union is paying our country because of tariffs $950 billion. Think of that. We're talking about a year. $950 billion. Japan is paying us $650 billion. These are countries that paid us nothing until I came along. And China's paying us a tremendous tariff. You know what the tariff is, right? You know what the tariff they're paying is? Yeah. What?
Yeah. So it's 30% for the fentanyl as well as whatever for the 301s.
20% for the fentanyl. But the overall is about 55%. Okay. That's as opposed to nothing. Would you say that's a difference? We have a big decision coming up, and if the Supreme Court rules the way hopefully they will, because I mean every legal expert said we win that case, but you still have to watch. And the Supreme Court's been terrific. I think they're very fair. All I want is fairness, and we win. But if we win the Supreme Court case, which is the finalization of tariffs, we will be by far the richest country anywhere in the world, and we'll be able to help our people more, and we'll be able to help other countries when we want to. But I will say, if we win that case, our country, you see what we've taken in just on a temporary basis. We've taken in trillions of dollars, trillions with a T, and we will be by far the richest country in the world. There'll be nothing for us. And, you know, one other thing, we'll have tremendous power to negotiate. The use of tariffs. I settled 7 wars. 4 of them was because I was able to use tariffs.
If you want to know why Americans are ill-informed, the mainstream media is right up front with Donald Trump. That is when they're seeing it in real time. In real time, there should be the discussion. But President Trump, the tariff is being paid by those shopping at Walmart, by those shopping at Target, by those shopping in the dollar stores. That's who are paying the tariff, Mr. Trump. It's not the country that you put the tariffs on that's paying that Trump. It's the company who has to go pick up the product, put it in his or her store, and mark it up based on the tariff you are charging. So what you're doing is applying a tax to all the people you claim you care about. When you speak about inflation, it is directly attributed to your policies. The new job losses are to your policies. And no reporter, as he bloviates on nonsensical crap, none of them will come and call him out. It's about time, folks. It's about time. Well, we're here. Remember to share this, because that's the only way enough people would hear the truth, because the mainstream media sure isn't doing the job. Now, folks, I'm coming to you in a second, Patrick. I just want to say this. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I need you guys to understand something, including those that are going to listen to this on podcasts from the right. Okay? When that product comes in, and the person who picks up that product has to pay the tariff. So if it's Walmart, if it's Target, they go to the docks and they give the customs that that thing that they bought out of China for $2 is now going to cost $2 to $3. So they pay that. And when they bring that product back, then they put that price onto the product they sell in the stores. And it has already started to happen. Now, let me tell you what that means. That means the following. Donald Trump is taking money out of circulation, because as he grabs that money as a tariff into the coffers of the United States government. He is not putting that money into back into the economy per se. He is using it to pay up tax breaks for the wealthy, so it's not being recirculated into the economy. If the tariffs weren't there, the price of the product would be cheaper. The American people would be putting more money into the economy, not a tax on the lower class. Now, when the rich gets a break, they don't spend anymore. They spend whatever they can. There's nothing that stops them from spending. So he is slowing down the economy with tariffs. It happened during the Depression. It's happened now again. But what can I say? Please let people understand that. Go ahead, Patrick.
That's not why I called, but even if the we're going to endorse tariffs, he still is putting us further in debt faster than just about any other person has.
Yes.
So the tariffs aren't even offsetting the damage he's doing.
Amen. Go ahead and let me know what you're calling from, my brother.
Well, I want to ask you respectfully, and I'm not trying to make it uncomfortable or anything, but how do we know that his roommate was transitioning?
That is what the parents told. That's what the parents said, and that is a reason also, according to the writings, according to what I've read thus far, that is what made them say. You notice? Did you see the press conference? Because I want to show you how you can see it was a political press conference. Um, they went ahead and said the parents told us he had these. He had started to have these left thoughts. Where the hell did that come from? Oh well, because he was living, and the left thoughts was that he was very now pro-gay. That was the left thought, like as if gay had anything to do with left and right. So that's where, But as far as how do we know the guy was transitioning, that's what the parents said.
As of last night, and maybe more has come to light today while I was working, but as of last night, what I read was that they refused to comment on whether or not he was transitioning or trans, and I couldn't find anywhere else that didn't have a incentive to paint him as a trans person so that they could place blame on something that they didn't like. I couldn't find anything. And one thing I will tell you that was interesting is that more than one person that says that they are knowledgeable about the ultra right group that he was a part of, the GOY, whatever. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't want to
Groiker. Yeah,
butcher the
yeah,
enunciation.
yeah.
Several people have said that and this gives you some credence, but several people said that there's a subset of that group, because they're so hardcore misogynistic and so undateable, that they groom other people in the group to become partners.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I
so
don't that part. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that part I didn't read. I think the where I got my information came from the British paper itself. I can't remember, a Guardian, I think it was. But I'll go ahead and find exactly about the transition in portion. But I think that part is sort of academic, because if you listen to they have the text exchange between the two, right? They had the text exchange between the two, and it seemed like a very loving text exchange. I was like, when he looks and he said, well, go ahead and I don't recall right now, but go ahead and read the text exchange between the two of them, between the two roommates. I think it'll be enlightening. I just heard it on.
Yeah, and an 18-year-old neighbor did say that he saw them affectionate, but I mean, I don't know how much to trust an 18-year-old, because they're not mature and might be looking
Right.
for attention. But there is that too. But I mean, that's not strong enough evidence for me, and especially since there is so much incentive to paint him as a scapegoat. I'm kind of weary of that.
No, I
And
don't
then
think I don't,
one
and I
other
think
thing I want to touch.
wait, hold on. Let me just say, I think that's fine. I think because there's so much stuff that is nebulous, it is fine for us to look at all the different avenues. I picked the narrative that I gave up front came strictly from what I heard in the exchange and the actual text exchange that they purported pulled down. The text exchange that they pulled down, I think, kind of inferred quite a bit. That's why I said to check out the text exchange that they provided on TV, assuming that that is a text exchange they pulled out from the records. I mean, it's not far, but what I'm trying to get across before you finish, Patrick, is that the fallacy is that a gay thing is conservative or progressive or conservative or liberal. That's not true. There are conservative gay people and there are liberal gay people. I live here in Houston where we have a large contingent of conservative gay folks. There's this thing called the Log Cabin Republicans. That is a bunch of gay conservative Republicans. So there you go. But anyway, continue, brother.
I, I agree with everything you say. And what do you think of Chris Hedges?
Chris, I know him personally. Actually, we honored him at Houston Peace and Justice Center. He's very dark, and he thinks we are at the end. To put it bluntly, why? Why did you ask?
Yeah, I trust him, and he's a Middle East expert. And
Yes.
he had somebody on that I spent about 45 minutes listening to him. And Chris Hedges didn't propose the idea himself, but he gave this guy free reign to lay out the idea that this might have been a assassination by the Israeli government, and he did a very
Uh,
good job of laying it out.
well, I mean, I don't want to get into the conspiracy side. By the way, I know Chris, and Chris is generally a reliable person. Did Chris have a comment on when he said that?
He gave him free reign, and he didn't push back at all, and
Okay, the
very
reason.
little editing.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you don't see Chris Hedge push back or add some corollary or whatever, he's just giving the guy free reign. I would not be pushing that kind of a narrative right now, based on, I would have a hard time pushing that narrative right now. Again, I could be wrong. Any of us could be wrong, but I'll be careful that we don't become what MAGA is, and that is a bastion of conspiracy theories without any real backing behind it. So I don't know. I mean,
I
I would be concerned. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was at least interesting to me, and it did smell like a conspiracy from beginning to end. But I found it interesting that somebody that respected would entertain it on his brand for 45
Right.
minutes straight, and then it's already catching traction in other areas. There's a caller that calls into KPFT, and he essentially just summarized the entire
Let me hold on a second.
interview this morning.
Let
So
me
I'll
hold
leave
a
it at
second. No, Catherine Hill says she can't hear any sound. Catherine, go ahead and refresh and see if you hear, because I don't hear anybody else complaining about not being able to hear the sound. So I just want to make sure. But yeah, Patrick, let me tell you, I, you can come on and say that, right? I wouldn't say that quite yet. I mean, when we heard that one shot. I mean, it was one shot, right? One shot, perfect shot, hit its mark, all of that. It lends itself for people to generate theories, and I mean, I can't tell you it didn't cross my mind. It crossed my mind, but I wouldn't use my show for me to say anything about it, because again, I think credibility is important.
I'm definitely not endorsing it. I just put it out there for anybody else that has heard about it, and I'm just
I hear you. I hear you.
all I can say is that this isn't solved. I don't think.
No, no, I don't think we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. I tend to believe this is simpler. I mean, and then again, I could be wrong, but I am of the belief that this is just a guy who is in love, and he got an opportunity to do this and he did it. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. And it seems like it fills out that thing about right wing folks are armed more so than anybody else, and they're willing to use arms. And well, Nick Fuentes is a good friend. Well, it's somebody he follows, Nick Fuentes, and kind of disparages Charlie Kirk quite a bit. So I don't know. We'll see. But let's see what happens,
Yeah,
Patrick.
they
Let's
had
see
a
what
long
happens.
rivalry.
Yeah, let's see what
All right,
happens.
sounds great. Thank you.
Take care, brother. Peace. All right, folks. I have another video that I want to show. This one is Trump threatening an ABC reporter. This is what we're coming to if we don't fight back. Today, Donald Trump threatened a national reporter, specifically ABC's Jonathan Karl. How did he do that? Well, Jonathan Karl asked a very important and specific question. What's this about Pam Bondi going after hate speech when, after all, we know that freedom of speech gives you that opportunity to do that? So he asked Donald Trump that question. Donald Trump looked at the guy and pretty much says, "You're a hater. That's why I sued your company and they had to give me $16 billion. Read, it really means that's why I extorted $16 million out of your company, even as much as they would have won that lawsuit. And by the way, they probably need to go after you. Check this out and then we'll take it on the other side."
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
We'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C. is fixed, and I fixed it. The mayor was fine. The mayor was just fine. Okay? The mayor had the sick city for many years. He's been mayor for many years. The one that fixed it was me and my people. And it is so safe. You should take your beautiful wife tonight and have dinner down there. You won't be shot. You won't be accosted. You won't even be looked at incorrectly by anybody.
Let me tell you why this is also upsetting. After he asked Donald Trump that question and Donald Trump answered, Donald Trump decided to pivot into him making Washington, D.C. safe. Now, the crime rate in Washington, D.C. has been on a steady decline for the last several years, and it has just continued during the 9 months of the whatever months of Trump's administration thus far. So Donald Trump has really done nothing specific that materially changed the downward spiral of crime in Washington, D.C. But after he threatens Jonathan Karl, which is a very normal tactic that these authoritarians do, right? In effect, he quieted down Karl, because Karl allowed the president then to bloviate about crime in D.C. going down, to bloviate about what he's going to do in Chicago, what he's going to do in Memphis, etc. And never did Jonathan Karl simply say, "But Mr. Trump, the crime rate is declining at the same rate that it has been declining now for several years. So what did you add to it? And what would happen as, let's say, assuming it were the National Guards that even put an attenuation on crimes, what happens when the National Guard leaves if that is the case? But that's not the case. Crime has been going down because, again, it's not just about policing. It's about programs to keep kids off the street, keep people out of trouble, give people opportunities, etc. But Jonathan Karl never got a chance to do that, ask that, or any of the sorts. And why? Because he was intimidated by the president. As the president charged him, it's amazing. This is the independent media is all that we've got, folks, because these people are not going to be able to do their job because they choose to acquiesce to the president. It is a shame, right? It is a shame that no questions come. I mean, when he makes that comment about the crime rate, talk about there's no crime rate. When he talks about Bondi, and that's what, when you go ahead and you succumb to the aggressor, that aggressor continues, and that's what ABC did. That's what all of the mainstream media is doing or doing. ABC, CBS. I'm not sure if NBC paid off anything yet. I mean, it's ridiculous. We have to get these guys a spine. I got one more video, and this one has to do with how he threatened an Australian reporter in that same interview. I want you to check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side. There we go. Here we go. Aquí tenemos. Now, President Trump is a character. A person asked him a very important question. Hey, have you really gotten yourself even richer as president of the United States? The president looked at the reporter and says, well, who the hell are you? Where are you from? Well, I'm from Australia. Well, your prime minister or whatever isn't going to. I tell you what. Listen to this exchange, and then we'll take it on the other side.
It is appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Paul Corners program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
If you think there is any exaggeration when we talk about a autocrat, that the president wants to be a dictator, an autocrat, etc., he doesn't want to be ever questioned. This is an example when talking to this reporter from down under, that he will not tolerate any question that questions whatever financial ineptitudes, whatever financial tricks, whatever corruption he indulges in. He just goes ahead and attack the reporter and also threaten the reporter. Your country may not want to have you here checking on me. After all, they need me. That is in effect what he told the reporter. Check this out. I mean, it's just something that if the independent media doesn't do its job, it's just not going to be out. And that's the case. Now, let me just do some self-serving stuff here. And it's actually serving us all. We got the news yesterday, I think it was, that TikTok is getting sold. They're going to make the deal. And if Trump is actually supporting the deal, it's going to be with a friendly company. That's what it's going to be. And that has me concerned. First of all, I love TikTok. TikTok, the algorithm currently, if you follow smart people that know history and geography, etc., you get a lot of that into your feed. And that's what I get in my feed. A lot of history, geography, politics, good politics, etc. I also set it up that with going through enough conservative feeds that I also get that in the mix. So I get to see a good set of the TikToks, etc. But what's happening right now is something called throttling. And you may believe that being on social media and posting thing, you're opening it up to the world. Well, you're opening it up to an algorithm that during an election can change abruptly, can change overnight, can change in a second. With these algorithms out there today, I'm getting good stuff right now. I can imagine what's going to start happening when we get closer to an election, when people are really paying attention. I can imagine where my posts, even though they're already throttled, I can tell you based on the subject that I'm covering, I can tell you if I'm throttling or not, or how deeply throttled I am, based on how many people call and say, I got no notification today or whatever, right? Because the algorithm controls, even though on Facebook we have in our combined pages over 60,000 people, on Substack 20-something thousand people, on YouTube over 40-something thousand people, on Twitter, about 10,000 people. On Instagram, about 10,000 people. And I mean, you take a look at all these numbers, right? These are people that are following you. And you say, wow, what a reach. What a reach. But what you start to notice is a whole lot of these people that saw what you did and chose to subscribe to see. When I say subscribe, I mean to follow you. And they say, oh my God, I didn't hear from you, or I didn't see your stuff. Why? Well, because you get throttled. And the algorithm, if you are out of control, and that's where it is right now. So the only algorithm that works as it should, and it's a basic old-fashioned algorithm. In the days of the muckrakers, it was pieces of paper and the United States mail. Not even that we can count on anymore, given what they've been doing to the mail. If you remember, they held back a lot of ballots in Pennsylvania, all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that still works the best is emails. Emails still work. And that's because for those of you who don't know the internals of email, there's an IP connection between you and the server, and then that server has another IP connection to who it's sending the email to. So getting in between that is a bit more difficult. So email will maintain the reign for now, and I believe that in this next election, to be sure that you're going to get informed, baby, sign up for those mails, those emails that you get value out of. I'm talking about newsletters that you get value out of. And even if you don't read them all, make sure you have them. Because what happens, I tell you, is that the control that they're going to have on the social media, with Trump now in control of Facebook, because Zuckerberg has now joined ranks. Musk has now joined ranks, which means Twitter. And by the way, with Zuckerberg, he gets WhatsApp, he gets Threads, he gets Facebook, and he gets Instagram, the four majors. Twitter is Musk, and now TikTok, out of the hands of the Chinese, who really don't have a hunt, but now in the hands of a protege for Trump. And if you think he's not going to use the control he's going to have over TikTok to further brainwash those of weak minds, you have something to think about. So what I want to ask all of you that are listening to me, and all of your friends that you can share this to, is to ask them whether they decide to become paid subscribers or just free subscribers. Please subscribe to Egberto Off the Record. Subscribe to this newsletter. If you have the ability to support us financially, please do so. And again, it's very inexpensive, and you can help us keep the message out. We are going to be all over. We're going to be in newspapers. I'm already out in the newspapers, all the rags on the internet. And we have a few more books that I'll be releasing. Hopefully one of them before the end of the year, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it edited in time, etc. But it's important that we, brothers and sisters, stay connected. We have to stay connected, because it is very, very difficult. It is very, very difficult. So please, if you are not already a subscriber to politics, to Egberto Off the Record, where we do politics on right, please go ahead and subscribe. If you can also become a paid subscriber, all these books that you see scrolling next to me, you get to read immediately online. So please consider supporting us. And remember, you can talk to me directly by email as well, by going to info@politicsdoneright.com. info@politicsdoneright.com. Marge, Mary B, yes, we are in fact at a tipping point. We don't have to feel that way anymore, Mary B. We are there. but it's not unavoidable. We can actually get out of it. We were here before. During the Red Scare, we were here. It takes a few strong ones. Right now, I got to be concerned personally because I have an American passport that says I was born in Panama. I don't intend to leave the country anytime soon because I know what issues that mean. The other thing is that they're coming after us. Those of us that have these platforms, they are coming after us. So we are on the lookout, but we need the support of the masses. I got a call today from one of our activists that said, we're going out there on Thursday. We're going to have cameras to make sure everything is recorded. We got to stay engaged. We can't let the paper tigers make us pull back. Got to get out of here. So please, folks, go ahead and subscribe. politicsdoneright.com/ oh boy, I need to put it up, don't I? politicsdoneright.com/newsletter is how you support us. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can subscribe to us and support us at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I'm putting it in both chats right now. All right. Anyway, love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.